Hey, good morning. How are you?
I am much better. It is only 99 degrees, not 109, so feeling cool.
Well, hot is hot after 95. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Well, honestly, when you're on a motorcycle in the heat or your car's AC doesn't work, which unfortunately is both of my situations, you don't really get a choice. Um, but you definitely do feel the difference at 99 versus 109.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, and speaking of cooling off, we're hoping rates are going to do that. After a 4-week decline, we did have a little uptick, so we're at kind of 6.95% right now for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. All loan types, all down payments, all credit scores, all discount points. And we're hoping that it's going to come down. We are seeing a little bit of improvement, but I know there's a little sentiment from Freddie Mac. They're one of the big government agencies that deals with housing. Mortgage rates increased this week, coming in just under 7%. Both new home and pending home sales are down, causing active listings to rise. We are still expecting rates to moderately decrease in the second half of the year, and given the additional inventory, price growth should temper, boding well for interested home buyers. This is pretty good sentiment, don't you think?
I think it's great news. I think we need to put an emphasis on moderate decrease. So, not to be Johnny Raincloud, but we're not going to see 2s and 3s. That I've spoken to people as well as you have over the last bit that think we're going to get there again. We're not.
It's going to take another pandemic.
Yeah, let's hope not. But
yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean it that way.
So, but moderate decrease is better than no decrease. That's awesome, quite frankly.
Yeah, and what really excites me is that we expect active listings to rise.
Yep.
A little bit more inventory will help out with supply and demand. Hopefully we'll see housing prices slow down because even with, since February 2023, over a year now, record-setting home values every single month. So it's a little bit tiresome. It's a little bit heavy for buyers. And, we harp on it a lot, but if you bought back then and you were waiting for an interest rate decrease, well, at least you're in a cheaper house than if you were to buy now, because rates haven't done anything. Dale, got a mortgage-backed security chart right here. Green is up, red is bad. Green is good, up is good, red is bad, down is bad.
Right.
But I've noticed this trend, and I'm hoping you can kind of parse it out for us. I see this line right here, and we keep hitting it. So rates aren't, decreasing past this line, it seems. I'm curious your thoughts on it.
So I think the line is a good thing. I mean, go back to April 15th and April 22nd and April 29th. The whole April-May corridor. Holy cow. That was a ride in and of itself.
Very volatile. Yeah.
End of May through now, it's been reasonably steady. And I think steady is a good thing. They call it the path of resistance or the floor of resistance. We're there. I'm hoping this is a sign of steadiness instead of the volatility. Steadiness in anything is an improvement and is good. The volatility is just wasn't working for anybody, quite frankly.
Yeah, it just shows, it gives you predictability. It helps you can make decisions a little bit more soundly. And we can take a look at this with rates. I mean, take a look at the volatility. We have such sharp increases and decreases with high peaks and very low valleys in random different spots. But as we progress through this year, we're seeing these peaks and valleys become smaller and less impactful, and the line seems to be tapering into a level field. So I agree with you. I think that we are seeing a more normalized market. We don't like it being as high as it is now, but it makes it more predictable, we hope. But Dale, there is one other thing.
Oh, yeah. No. I was going to say, look at this chart, April to May, and you see that big up and down. Can you go back to the chart we were looking at? Look at our April to May. It's almost converse of what you're seeing. So it is hopefully normalizing, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. The other thing we want to point out here is the widening gap. We've talked about this before, but the widening gap between a 30 and a 15-year mortgage. Take a look at this area, a very narrow band. As we're seeing this gap widen, we kind of get an idea that, okay, lenders are having a little bit of hope in one spot, the 15-year mortgage, which is lower risk. But I have had this conversation recently, Dale. If I'm buying a house and I'm going to pay it off in half of the time, it would stand that I end up paying double for my mortgage, correct, right?
Well, it's not true, as you know, but yeah, I could see where somebody would have that as a thought. If I had a 30-year mortgage at $3,000 a month, then my 15-year mortgage must be $6,000 a month, and that's simply not the case.
Not even close. Let's take a look at it. We're going to take these numbers: 6.95, 6.25, $500,000 sales price, 20% down, Amador County tax rate. 30-year is principal and interest 2647, 3429. You can absolutely see that's not double right there. Definitely not. But if we add in the taxes, which are going to be the same, the insurance, which is going to be the same, we're only at like a $770 difference, $772. I can't see that double.
No. The thing about a mortgage that a lot of people don't understand, the reason the 30-year is not a whole lot less than a 15, and I hope this makes sense, you're paying interest on the outstanding balance.
Yes.
Hence, if you have a 30-year mortgage and you pay $100 or $200 or $300 a month more, you turn it into maybe a 22-year mortgage or a 25-year mortgage because you're paying interest on the outstanding balance. If you can do a 15, do a 15. It's the way to go.
It makes way more sense, and maybe one day we'll break down the total interest paid between a 30 and a 15-year. Even if we did apples to apples on the interest rates and everything, it would be kind of shocking. But no, that it's really actually not even close to double. It is an increase, but it's not as big as you might think. So a 15-year might be a viable option. And before we go, we want to remind a little bit about FHA. As time goes on, these changes happened back in 2023. FHA became way more competitive, and sometimes it's even better than other loan programs for buyers with good credit. So typically, good credit went to conventional, bad credit went to FHA. Now, you kind of got to look at the numbers a little more carefully. Dale, what were some of the changes?
Well, the two biggest changes that affects everybody is the monthly MI, as well as the fact that MI actually can go away. And what I mean by that, if you look at the chart here, the MI factor for FHA is now 0.55%. It used to be 0.85. Layman's terms, every 100,000 you borrow, it's now $550 a year for MI when it used to be $850 a year for MI.
Yeah.
Almost half. Not quite, but close to half. And in addition, the old FHA loans, no matter how much you put down, you had MI for the life of the loan. Now, if you put 10% down or more, it goes away in about 11 years, which would be about the same as a conventional loan if you put 10% down. So it actually is a little bit more competitive now. And the rate is typically better. The interest rate is typically better on FHA than conventional. So it's certainly something to look at.
Yeah, definitely something worth looking at. And then also, of course, the debt to income ratios we've noticed are a little more forgiving than previous years. They also raised the limits. Now, I can't give hardline numbers, and if any lender tries to, they might be wrong. But the truth is that there are algorithms and decisions that are made in automated underwriting systems, AUS, that are hidden and we just don't get to see. So it is a little bit of an art. It's a little bit of a craft to try and get AUS approval for those clients that are a little bit on the narrow side of debt to income ratios. But we have been seeing a lot more forgiveness, a lot more grace, and a little bit easier approvals going through. Dale, just a brief touch on number 3. What are LLPAs and how does this help on FHA?
Remember, LLPAs are loan level price adjustments. Every interest rate, if you will, has what we call them hits in our world. You know, credit score 760 and above is you get a little bit better rate than 740 to 760 and 720 to 740, and loan to value. So every loan comes with a risk, and they're adjusted with the loan level price adjustments. That's how that risk is factored in to the price that you get.
So in short, FHA is a little bit more forgiving on loan level price adjustments. Plus, if you're a first-time home buyer, you just wipe them away. Yeah. And then a little known fact, FHA rental income is actually allowed on 2 to 4 unit properties. So if you need to offset the income, you can use up to 75% of rental income on FHA. So, you know, some really great things to remember. If you need, screenshot this, keep it in your back pocket. Dale, that wraps it up for today. I really appreciate your time.
You betcha. Have a great day.
All right. Take care. Bye.
I know.